Okay, welcome back to another edition of the Topwater Podcast. I am Justin Ellis. I am the host of this here podcast, and thank you for joining me. Today's a special day, and not only is it a special day because I got something pretty cool that I ordered in, but it's a special day because you guys can go ahead and like and subscribe and go ahead and just share this video to people. Just take the moment to do that. That'd be great because to build this podcast and to spread it out, it's going to take just more than just me. It's going to take you guys. And that's the reason why this is so special. It's because, I keep trying to improve myself, but I don't want to, I want to do it for myself, but I also want to do it as kind of an example for you guys. So today is kind of a special day. And I was hinting in the last podcast of what I would actually be getting, and I got my order in. So first and foremost, this is kind of an unboxing podcast. I did break into it a little bit just to check everything. So, just because I'm not opening the box directly does not mean that I've actually really just divulged into the box. But, I just made sure everything was, on board. Everything's good. So, everything's good. First things first. First thing I get out of the box was this nice little t-shirt. It was a Tackle Warehouse t-shirt. I got it because my order was large enough to where they actually gave me a free t-shirt. So I actually got a free Tackle Warehouse t-shirt. So just remember that if you order from the... And now, this is another thing. I am not sponsored by Tackle Warehouse or any of the companies that you're going to see in this video today. I have no affiliations. I'm not sponsored by them. This is not a paid advertisement or anything else. This is just purely an unboxing. This is stuff that I thought would be beneficial for me moving forward into the springtime and into the summertime. This isn't something that I thought that would be, this isn't something. This isn't a paid advertisement. That's what I want to make clear on this. So they gave me this t-shirt. It's pretty cool. I liked it. Has the there you go. Tackle Warehouse. Nice. I like that. I like the wood look onto it and has the little Tackle Warehouse logo onto that. I'm going to be wearing that a bunch. I like the material on it. It's great. I love it. It's nice. It's great. But I specifically order stuff for Springfield Lake, the lake that I'm fishing on, that I think that would heighten my hookup ratio. Or when I say heighten my hookup ratio, it should lower the amount of times I hook up into snags. So here's the thing. It's like it's you're going to have a better hookup ratio when it comes down to actual exposed hooks. So if you have something that has some sort of exposed hook, most likely you're going to end up hooking into the bass or whatever fish that you're fishing for more easily because it's an exposed hook. But you're going to hook into everything else at the same time. So it's just not... if you're constantly hooking into snags and you're constantly hooking into brush, then you're going to constantly spook the fish because you have to get your bait out of there, and you're going to have a hard time on the water. And I've struggled on the water before, and I've struggled a lot. So that's the reason why I ordered some of these bad boys right here. I'm going to pull these out. And from my box of goodies, these are by Cool Baits Lure Company. They're swim bait heads. They're underspin heads. Now, the reason why I like these, you can see them here. Boom. The reason why I'm digging on some of these is because, move my little sheet out of the way. This has the actual prices and everything that I actually paid for them from the warehouse, from Tackle Warehouse, the actual website. This is the receipt from it, so I can actually rattle off the actual prices. That T-shirt was free. That was a free T-shirt. Now, the cool baits. That's what I got there. Now, the reason why I went with these is because I don't know if you guys can see this. Put that a little bit. Maybe get a little bit closer to the camera over here. I may have to zoom in on my camera a little bit. Oh no, I may have to get out of the chair. But the cool thing about these is they have an offset hook. And that to me is something that is pretty detrimental to my sort of like type of fishing, because I'm fishing around cover, around wood, around grass, around different things, to where it's like I really need something to be able to go through the brush and to be able to go through this stuff without actually hanging up into it. Now, see, if I had, let's see, let me just pull it out. See, now I gotta get out of the chair. Now I gotta get out. So unprofessional. So unprofessional. That's the way I work. That's the way I do. Oh, yeah. No, before I get back in, I'm just going to hit the... Boom. See? You can tell this is one of my first unboxings. For sure, one of my first ones, especially with this camera, for sure. Now, I don't really know if you guys have ever fished around open wood cover with a exposed hook, but it's probably some of the most frustrating things you can actually do. And I actually think I've already lost it. Nope. Here it is. Found it. See, I lose these things. I lose these things constantly. I lose that right there. That's what I lose. Kind of. Boom. This guy right here. If I take the swim bait off of there, you can actually see it. Like, maybe if I use the box as like a background. Boom. No, the box that sucks. The box sucks. The white piece, the paper worked a lot better. So, there. Or this thing right here. That guy right there. But this thing is really nice whenever you're dealing with open water conditions, whenever you're not dealing with a lot of snags. I mean, I really like it. I really like this sort of style of underspin. I don't even want to say more often than not. Actually, I use this on very specific occasions. I use these, well, not these, more or less. I actually use the Owner Flashy Swimmer, which is this guy right here. If I can, yeah. Oops. Yeah, that guy right there. The Owner Flashy Swimmer. That is, that's actually my go-to underspin setup. Especially for a lake like Springfield Lake. That does have a lot of grass, has a lot of hang-ups, has a lot of just, it's a very, very public lake. It gets very, very pressured. And now I do like this because of the fact that it kind of leaves the weight not at the head. So it's not diving, it is diving forward like this, but it's kind of letting it fall and kind of forcing that tail up. Like it's falling, like whenever you watch a fluke fall through the water, that's kind of how that has that same sort of pull to it. But I will also say I've gotten some pretty big bass off this guy right here. So those two are my two favorite. This one's the Berkeley. This one's made by Berkeley, which is, I mean, it's kind of an inexpensive, you're run-of-the-mill, swim bait head with an underspin attachment to it, and it's not terrible. I like it. I like the shape of the face. I like the way it's designed. It looks good. I'm digging the eyes onto the bait. It's not bad. It's not a bad bait, and I've caught fish off of it. So I like using it. It's fairly inexpensive. You can pick those up Bass Pro. But I'm excited to try these guys out because of the fact that I'm pretty sure I'm going to lose less lures, and that's kind of the goal when we go out there and fish. Like the worst thing to do is to go out there and just to get snagged up all the time, and to actually just, it's very easy to ruin a day of fishing like that. I have ruined enough fishing days just by, I've spent so much time just getting lures back. And that's a hard day of fishing, I'm going to tell you that is definitely 100% a hard day of fishing. All right, so the next up, what we're going to talk about is something else I ordered, is that kind of goes along with it, is these right here. These right here, and also I bought Rage Swimmers. These pretty much are my staple go-to swim bait on Springfield Lake. Now, this is something that's more specific to the lake themselves, and I go with, and this is the color that I get bit the most off of, is the Pearl, Pearl Flash. That's what it is. It is you have with the white pearl on top, and you have a clear silver flake bottom, and I'm going to tell you, these things have produced for me, and these are a staple when it comes down to going to Springfield Lake. Now, I got them in the 3.75, and I also got them in the 4.75. So I kind of found that the ones that I think they're the 5.7, they're basically a 6-inch swim bait. Those ones didn't seem to be very good for me there. Like, I didn't seem to be able to produce with the bigger swim baits, but I think that has to do with the fact that I needed to dedicate 100% throwing those bigger swim baits, or something like this or something like this I could actually throw onto the swim bait heads. And those things are, like I said, if the fact that they're weedless is going to make everything, that's going to be a huge game changer. And because of the fact that 65-pound braid, that's what I'm fishing with. And the reason why I'm fishing with it, because I'm fishing around heavy cover. Now, it is the Suffix 832 Advanced Super Line. I've used this stuff before. I think it just comes down to what you're confident with. I think there's several different good brands out there, And Suffix is just one of the brands that I just feel like I've always had, good. I've had good experience with this. I haven't had any sort of issues with the line. I haven't had it break on me randomly. There's going to be discoloration, but I kind of figure that's something that kind of happens over a period of time, and you're just going to have to deal with something like that. And, just grab yourself a black Sharpie. They're cheap enough in order to do it. Or if you're really kind of a stickler about it, then, change your line. But with braid, you don't necessarily have to change your line super often, but if you do the little line trick to where you take one reel and you take the braid that's faded and you stick it onto the other side, onto the beginning of the reel and reel it in, all your faded line is at the bottom. So now your faded line's not even going to be fished with. And yeah, there you go. You're fucking good to go, and you have all pretty much a new line. I mean, you're fishing with the braid at the bottom of the spool, so yeah, that might as well just be new line. So, these are, and I know I have several packs. This right here, that's probably about 3 weeks. I have probably about a month and a half, if that. I probably have about, if I wreck them the way I did last year, then this will be less than a month's worth of baits right there. That right there, less than a month's worth of bait, which sucks because I know the 3.5s. I mean, these aren't necessarily cheap. Because let's see, there's Striking Rage Swimmers Pearl Flash 3.75. They are $5.49 a piece on Tackle Warehouse. That's what they are. They are $5.49 a piece. Yeah. So you got to think you're going to be spending some monies. So I just went ahead and stocked up. I just went, everybody's panic buying, everybody's hoarding shit. Yeah, why not? I mean, some people buy toilet paper. I buy Rage Swimmers. But the Rage Swimmers are good because that's part of, kind of my search tactic. That's part of just trying to specifically just kind of figure out where they're hanging out. Are they hitting stuff away from cover? Are they hitting stuff close into cover? That's kind of it's the bait that I use in order to figure out what exactly they're doing. And sometimes you just that's one of those patterns I kind of feel like I can get a pretty decent reaction bite off of and it's good to have an underspin. And now, since I have the weedless swim bait heads that aren't underspins, oh, buddy, that's the way to go. But the next thing that's in this box, which, has really more to do with flipping and pitching. And it's because I bought these guys right here. Rage Menaces. The white ones. Pearl white. These are for my bed fishing. Boom. The Rage Tails. These are for bed fishing. I wanted them for bed fishing, but I also want them for flipping. Because last summer, when I was fishing, I was trying to do a little bit of topwater fishing around the lily pads, and I noticed a bass chased a shad, and the shad busted up through the hole. So sometimes lily pads will leave these little holes because you have a lily pad here, you have a lily pad here, you have a lily pad here and here, and it'll make a little hole. And what happened is that fish went straight for that hole, and the bass went after it and couldn't grab it. And that little shad came out and landed on top of the lily pad, and it sat there and flopped around, and then it flopped back in to the lily pads, like into the hole, and it busted again. So that makes the second strategy that I actually do. The second strategy is I'll take a bait that has a little bit of weight, like something that can't penetrate the lily pad, but what it can do, it can kind of just sit there and vibrate the lily pad as it's moving across. And it'll vibrate the lily pad until it gets to a hole, and I'll hop it right into the hole. And I've gotten a few different bites doing that. That is something that I picked up on, and it's actually kind of kept me from getting skunked whenever it's been really hot and I'm not really kind of like sure what to do. I've also done it with the underspin. And I've had a very hairy situation with the underspin with that because I was frog fishing and I got this fish pissed off. Like, I mean, absolutely pissed. Every single time I moved this frog, it would blow up on it, and but it couldn't get through the mat. I mean, it just couldn't get through it. And also with it being a hollow body frog, it wasn't going to sink down in. And anytime it got into a hole, it would never blow. When it blew up on it, it would only shoot the frog off into the like fucking 3-4 feet or something like that. I mean, it was amazing how far this thing was launching that frog. But it would launch it so far away from it that it wouldn't even matter. Like, it would just like travel off and just wait there. Like, I'm waiting for it. So what I did is I pitched back in there with an underspin with a flashy swimmer and a rage tail. A rage swimmer, not a rage tail, a rage swimmer. And I let it I was scooting along the pads. And see, the thing is I was just kind of nudging it along, and it blew up on the pad again. I was like, okay, that's the same fish. So I found the hole that's closest to it, and I tried to maneuver it into the hole. And as soon as I dropped down that hole, that fish just smashed that thing. And when it smashed it, fight was on. But the fight wasn't the same type of fight that you would think. It hit, and it came out, and I couldn't get it up because I was using a completely wrong rod for this. I was using a spinning setup, and you could grill me on this now, but it was the only thing I had to toss back in there. I only had a couple of rods at the time. So I pitched in there with that, it hit it, and it took off, but I was able to kind of keep it where it was at. And it was stuck kind of where some lily pads are. And it just kind of sat there. I mean, it had room to move, but it couldn't really move too much. So I made my way all the way back into these lily pads. By the way, I don't know if you've ever made your way through a lily pad field. It's not simple. Like, you have to sit there and brush lily pads with your kayak paddle and just like sit there and like you're essentially brushing things out of your way for your kayak to kind of just fill the space. Like, that's what you end up doing, is just filling space, and that's how you move forward. And that's how I move forward. I eventually got up to it, and I eventually caught it, and it ended up being like a 3-pound bass. I was so happy about that. And then, like, when that happened, and when I saw that shad come up on that lily pad and just sit there and flop around, and finally it flopped into a hole and got like murked. I mean, those were two like separate events that just kind of made me go, oh, okay, this is what's going on right now. This is what's going on. This is it. So the Rage Menace. That's It's going to be a Texas rig sort of bait. And that's going to be really key. Unfortunately, I didn't get my tungstens in, but that's because they're on back order, and good luck getting tungsten right now. Good luck. If you can get them, you can get them. I mean, I've actually switched over back to lead a little bit. Luckily, I got lead sinkers because, if I didn't have lead sinkers, then what would I be doing? I mean, I wouldn't be Texas rig. I mean, that's for sure. And during the spawn, I mean, you need a Texas rig something. As long as you can see them. Like right now, I the last time I went out, I couldn't see a damn thing. So, who knows? Who knows? All right. So, let's see. In the Santa box goodies of goodies, this is something that I'm actually really excited for. Is this guy right here? This is the River to Sea S Waver. Yeah, there we go. The River to Sea S Waver. I know you can't see the face on it, but I'll pull this thing out of the package. I am so glad I bought this thing. I have been wanting to buy one of these for a while. And I finally decided to buy it. Kind of like a Mega Bass. I was wanting to buy a Mega Bass for a while, and I was just too scared to buy one because of how expensive it was. But then I was like, yeah, screw it, let's do it. Ooh, I like that. Look at that guy right there. Yeah, look at that guy right there. I'm still covering up the face. See, that's the exact profile that I would actually need. Because if you look at the swim bait 3.5, like on top of each other, it's like not too. Like if you looked at them side by side, they're not too far off from each other. So that's about the right size. That's about the matching of the hatching, if you know what I'm saying. But yeah, that's about the match of the hatch right there. I got it in the light trout. Is the S Waver 120 in the 120 size. And let's see, the S Waver 120 light trout is $15.99 on Tackle Warehouse. So that dude right there. Ooh, no. Like I'm worried. I just don't want to scuff it up. That is so much smaller than my other glide bait. My other glide bait, I've had a pretty big bass follow it before. I mean, it was like a 5-6 pound bass, but it wouldn't commit to it. But I'm wondering if this would. I wonder if this would actually get it to. But you never know. You never know. I don't know. I like the design of it. I like the look of it. I'll have to see it when it's actually in the water. But that's going to be fun. That is going to be a fun thing. I mean, glide bait fishing is one of those types of fishing that I haven't really done. I mean, I've dabbled. I've kind of dabbled into it, but I don't know if necessarily I haven't caught a fish either. I've gotten some strikes, but I haven't caught a fish. It's something that I haven't done yet. So we'll see. We'll see on this. I mean, I almost guarantee that I'm probably going to catch a fish on it, at least eventually, because I'm probably going to fish it enough. It's probably just going to stay tied on. Well, not stay tied on. I'm probably going to keep it in the sort of lure selection, while I go throughout this year. So the next big thing, the big grand finale, because you need some sort of finale. You need something to kind of build up to. And this is the thing that I was alluding to the last podcast. And I really think that sometimes you do need to spend the money on better equipment. And equipment is such a big deal. Here's the thing. I kind of equate it like, if you can find a budget for it, then yeah, go for the budget, because that's what you need. If you can find the off-brand that's going to suit your needs, to where it's not going to break the bank, that's great. I mean, that's the reason why this right here is one of my favorite setups. And what it is the Dobyns Fury. And it is a medium heavy fast action rod. And I know some people are like, you need medium, like a medium heavy, medium action, a moderate action. Well, I like the fast action because I kind of feel like I can still fish my more moderate action, like the stuff I need a more moderate. I can still fish it with this rod. It's still bendy enough. Like, it still has that play into it to where I don't feel like it's like a broomstick. But I have that with the Shimano SLX, and it is a 7:2-to-1 gear ratio, and I'm loving this combo right here. This is by far my hands down go-to favorite rod. I cannot put too much praise into this. This has so far been my best buy that I have bought yet. And I am very happy with this setup right here. Actually, this setup right here has so far produced 5-pound fish, 5-pound bass. I mean, I've hooked into 5-pound bass and been able to maintain them on a jerk bait without bending hooks out or anything like that. So I don't think that this rod and reel setup combo is I think it's a pretty decent way to go, because it's a $100 rod, $100 reel. Well, right around there. I'm not sure. I mean, your retailer might vary, depending on the retailer. I think I got my rod for $80, but I think I got it on sale. So, I mean, that's my go-to guy. That's what I want. But I also want to step up my frog rod reel and my jig reel. The thing is right now on my frog rod, I have the Cast King, which is a Cast King rod. And now the reason why I bought this is because the thing is I needed a broomstick, and I wanted I don't know. I kind of feel like the heavier the action, the less, maybe the less expensive I really need to go. So I went with Cast King, and so far the Cast King rod has really just, I mean, it's done what it's needed to do. I mean, the thing is I'm so not experienced with frog. I love frog fishing, and I love it, and I love it, and I love it. But man, I whiff so many times. But I just get too excited. I think I get too excited. But I also think that I ended up just, I don't reel into them fast enough. And I think that's really what it is I don't reel into them fast enough, and it's because I have too slow of a reel. And because of that slow reel, I just can't catch up to them. So what I decided is to buy a different reel. And I wanted to get something that was like 8-1 or like 8-2 to 1 or 8-3 to 1 or like something like that. But I ended up having to go with a little bit lower gear ratio just because of the fact that I fish left-handed. Well, with left-handed reels. And it's not because I'm left-handed, it's because I don't want to switch hands. Because what I think is if you cast out and it hits the water and a fish hits that bait and you have to switch hands as the fish, you're doing too much at that point. As soon as you have to switch hands for anything, you're doing too much. You're doing too much. It's easier to learn how to reel left-handed, in my opinion. It's much easier to learn. And I've learned how to reel left-handed. So I buy left-handed reels. So I decided to go with 13 fishing. I went with the 13 fishing Concept TXZ. Left-handed, gear ratio, 7-3 to 1. Now, I'm going to set this right here. Move the deal. We're going to pop this bad boy open. All right. So we got 13 fishing decal. Might go on the back. Who knows? Another 13 fishing decal. Oh, I'm definitely going to have to hold on to this. First things first is, and you can't see that, but what it is, it's a detailed breakdown of the reel. And I'm really glad that they included this in there because when you go to clean reels, and especially a reel like this that has the ability to do brackish water and fresh water and, stuff like that. If you fish any sort of salted water, you're going to want to break your reel down as many times as possible and clean it. Just kind of like, if you had like some sort of firearm or anything like that. Nice little foam insert there. All right. Okay. Look at that. Oh, wow. I didn't expect the actual reel to be that small. Like, I expected it to be a little bit bigger than that. Like, the actual reel itself, compared to the rest of the handle, the oversized handle. Oh man, I'm gonna frogfish the crap out of this thing. Oh, I like the TXZ. Here, let's see if I can. They have some TXZ right there. Boom, right there. Oh, they actually have. Okay. Let's see, open. It's kind of hard. Pop out. Well, it looks like it does have a brake control system. I'm not really sure how it operates. I'll have to maybe read the instructions on that before I go diddling around. But that's pretty like set in there solid. I gotta say, I kind of like it. I like it. I like the oversized handles. And that's the reason why I want the oversized handles, because the fact that I want to replace that Bass Pro, the Bass Pro Reel Special, I want to replace that with this thing right here. And this thing right here this 13 Fishing Concept TXZ. And it now, I did get it on a discounted price. Like, this isn't the actual retail price of it, because I think I did get an actual discount off of it, which was it was $259.97, which I think it was a little bit more expensive than that when it actually came down to the actual price, which what I paid was $259, so $260. I actually paid $260 for this reel. Well, we'll see how it works. I like the oversized handle though. Like for good cranking on it. I just want to be able to crank hard. And just because I need to be able to get the fish up and out of the lily pads. I don't need to allow the fish to do what they did the last time with the little spinning setup and everything like that, to where they can just kind of keep themselves where they're at. And matter of fact, they can go where they want. I don't want them to go where they want. I want them to go where I want, especially in that sort of situation, because you end up losing more fish than you do end up getting them into the boat. So if you can get them up onto the lily pads, or at least up into the tops of the lily pads, and kind of keep them there into the tops, and then you can totally 100% end up catching those. So that is going to be the end of the podcast, and this has been a wonderful little unboxing. I've had a pretty fun time doing this. I'm going to get some line on this bad boy right here. We're going to switch that reel out, and that's great. I can't wait to try this guy out. We're going to probably throw a Texas rig on to him first. I don't think I'm going to go topwater first thing in the morning. I think first thing in the morning is going to be a little bit too cold, a little bit too chilly. So we're probably not. I'm not going to go topwater right off the bat. I'm actually going to probably go with the Texas rig. We're going to go with Texas rig, some sort of either something like this or some other crawfish bait. I got some rage crawls and other things like that to throw on there. So with that being said, I'm going to get this stuff set up, and I hope you guys tonight, because this is Friday night, and I hope you guys are getting your stuff set up. Get your stuff set up, ready for the weekend, and you know what? Get out there and get fishing, because if you can get fishing, get out there and do something, because, hey, one of the things that's nice about social distancing is you can do it during fishing. You can be miles apart from people all next to you, and it's just such a it's great. It's great. And I'm going to go out there. And I'm going to go out there and I'm going to have a fun time, and hopefully you guys are going to be out there. You guys have a fun time. Be safe. Just, you know what, use common sense. Just stay patient. Just stay patient. Just stay patient. Stay patient. That's what you need to do. Like the one like one of the great senators says, "Pyaw! Stay patient. Stay patient. Stay calm. Use common sense, and be safe out there." And for sure, 100%. I am going to be putting these things out once a week, and so just expect that. Expect that these things come out once a week. You can follow me on Instagram at Justin_TWP Fishing, and also on Facebook at Justin Ellis. You can go there and follow me there, and I'll be posting stuff like fishing stuff, and I'll be posting the podcast stuff, and I'll be posting the other podcast. You can go check out, you can follow me also on my other podcast that I do with my co-host Adam Gossett. We do the Scuttlebutt Tavern podcast. You can go over there. We get there's just no structure to the whole thing at all. We start the podcast and we just go. We talk about the things that interest us, and we take a couple shots to the dome. So, and so if you want to check me out there, you can check him out there. And if you want to just keep watching this, just keep watching this. But yeah, I've had fun, and hopefully you guys have had fun too. And well, I'll see you out on the water. Peace.